Hello and welcome to my latest weekly video news from Madison's. Well, it's been really interesting to take a look at the rental market. Obviously, I talk about sales an awful lot, and still very much the sales market typified by this really low amount of property stock and incredible demand for that, which is pushing prices up. And just interestingly, before I move off sales, Trussell, that mortgage broker that I mentioned last week, now said they have almost 100 deals on their books at a mortgage rate of 0.9% or lower. And that is just showing how incredibly cheap money is at the moment. If you do want to buy a property, then raising debt is certainly one of the cheapest ways to do it. And that all helps to fuel that pressure that we're seeing. What's interesting though is, although the mortgage payments that you might be paying might be coming down because of low interest rates, still expensive to buy, so probably be still quite expensive, but rentals are going up. So average monthly rentals are really booming everywhere except London, but it looks like London's bottomed out. So since the pandemic, the London rental market has been on its knees, a massive outflux of people who no longer needed to be in the capital. Very easy to hand your notice on a rental and find somewhere new, and that search for space being the primary driver, needing 2 bedrooms to accommodate home working. So previously a 1-bedroom flat was probably one of the most popular types of rental stock in London. Now a 2-bedroom property was much more desirable, and a little bit of outside space, and as I said, no longer needing to be quite so close to work. So the rental market looked like it got to its worst point in London in February. It's down 9.8% on the year, but it's looking like that's bottoming out. People are now returning to the cities. Edinburgh, Manchester and Leeds have all shown great growth. You can see that from this chart here, that they are doing really well now, have really bounced back. And London was only down 3.8% on the year to date when looking at July. So it looked like those real lows that we saw have now passed, and people will return back to the rental market. It's expected that overseas buyers and renters will return to that market as well, as travel restrictions hopefully ease, so that will come back as well. Now, one of the interesting things that this chart shows is how earnings have also done pretty well during the pandemic. They're up 8.8%, and that's beating the yearly increase of rents, which is up around 5%. Rental markets are often typified by 2 core sectors, really. Those who simply can't afford to get onto the property ladder, it might be because they are saving up for a deposit, or they will never be able to get to a deposit level because of the amount of their earnings, or those who are kind of in between the property. They're renting temporarily, they're looking to buy, and they've broken the chain, or they're moving to an area to suss it out. A variety of reasons why they haven't yet bought, but they're certainly going to rent in due course. And both of those sectors, I think, have done quite well, probably on their earnings. That kind of stay-at-home group will be feeling definitely more wealthier from not having to pay for travel, but interestingly, their earnings have absolutely gone up. And lower paid groups, when I talk to any of my friends and colleagues in the town at the moment, one of the biggest problems that you have in the hospitality industry, who are a big sector of the rental market, is availability of staff. So their wages have gone up exponentially. To get someone who's working in a restaurant, a chambermaid, a beauty therapist, all of those kind of jobs that really suffered during the pandemic, and maybe saw people reevaluating, is this what I want to do, that I want to be suffering another pandemic at some future point, and to get a job that's more reliable, but also a huge outflux of people who've worked in those industries as a result of Brexit. I mean, I can say for the number of times I've gone to a restaurant recently that I've heard a real English accent. Doesn't happen very often. They were hugely filled, those jobs, by our European friends, and of course they've now headed back. About 1 million workers in that group deemed to have left the country. So pressure on earnings from employers, which mean they're earning more, they can probably afford to rent it more, and therefore that rental market all pushing up. So quite interesting to look at the rental market. A blog that I have posted back on my website, it's an old one, but I've redusted it off because it got a lot of praise when I launched it before. It was, when do I tell the children when I'm going to move? And it's got my thoughts and advice on the best time to do that. My children are used to moving now, and I find children incredibly adaptable. Wherever you and their stuff are, they will be happy. Very dangerous to ask the children what they think about a move unless it's a real upscale move. I've done viewings where children have been brought along because the parents have wanted their opinion. And if it's got a swimming pool, or it's got a new great big house, they've got a cinema room, they're going to have their own ensuites. What's not to love about all of that? But of course, it's a more difficult move, a downsized move, maybe as a result of a divorce, or you might be moving into the town more to give your children freedom. Then prices will get hit more, and children might look from their lovely big house they've been coming to and not be so keen. And sometimes in those situations, I think it's better to tell them much later when the deal is almost done. They'll be fine in the end. They're incredibly adaptable. Obviously, it was important to watch timing for children of when to move, exams, things like that. Keep things as settled as possible for them. But other than that, they are pretty adaptable. My children certainly are. Well, a great new property that I've launched is this lovely house, 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom, really quite new house, only a couple of years old, on the Hollyfields estate, up at Hawkenbury, Duncalf Road. It is immaculately presented. It's still got 8 years of its NHBC certificate remaining. So real peace of mind and guarantees around that. But it's got a lovely setting. It overlooks a sort of open natural parkland area and very close to the coveted St Peter's Primary School, which is obviously enjoying its lovely new premises up on the Hollyfields estate. So if that's of interest, do give us a call. We'll be delighted to help. I hope you have a great week. I look forward to seeing you next week. Bye-bye.